So here we have the bones of what it is that we're going to produce for the while loop. This actual top section is our introductory item, and then we will pick that up and expand it into a situation where we can set a variable to true or false, which is something we covered in a previous lesson. And if we are setting the button to false, we can then display a count, and we can get it to increment the count. And hey presto, all of a sudden we've created a stopwatch. As before, we will go and create ourselves a nice blank screen. And we'll start out with the easier case where it says while true. So while true means it's always going to be doing it, and we can set up a variable where we change change that to count by 1, and we can then show that as a number. Interesting. I see that we don't actually have picked up the fact that we've created a variable. So let's create a new variable. And as often the way with these sorts of things, it's now sorted itself out. These little foibles come along to thwart us. So if we now put in the pause for 1/10 of a second, and then we run that, you'll see it counts up quite quickly, and we'll just carry on trucking as it goes along. So we've got a basic counter sort of running that will run much faster if it was actually on a real microbit. Except for the microbit then has to display things, so it is going to get sort of slightly bogged down. But we can now sort of shuffle these things around so that we have our little stopwatch type application. So I'm going to attempt to create a new variable, and hopefully it will cooperate this time. And we are going to set that to false, and we're going to bring in the forever loop and slot that in there, and we're going to take away the true, put it in the bin, and we are going to say while run. So while that's true, it will do this stuff. And then we can pick up our button A, and that can be variables set run to logic true. Oh, run out of mouse mat. And we will duplicate that so that we can make it on button B to false, and just for belt and braces we'll get it to show the end number variables counter like so. So if we now run that, we don't see anything happening. We press A, and then it starts counting up. And because when we press B, it's going to set run to false, it won't be able to run it anymore because while false, so it will come to a stop, and it will show us a number, which in this case was 12. So that's an example of using the while loop, and you can in fact actually sort of build up a whole sequence of sort of logic in here to do interact in certain ways and compare against two different variables, or sort of look at the AND option or OR options There's a whole sort of variety of possibilities there. So in the next segment, we are going to look at the for loop.